Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Chakadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. And salutation and much love to Yakim out there pushing out this word in truth and sincerity. We're brothers from Great Millstone, Tampa. Just gonna do a video on the the Shabbat. The Passover, which is a Shabbat. But as you see, the title is a solemn assembly. So we'll start off on here. This is Deuteronomy 16. Let me see. I'll start at 6. This is Deuteronomy 16:6. But at the place which Yahweh thy power shall choose to place his name in, there thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even, at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest forth out of Egypt. And thou shalt roast and eat it in the place which Yahweh thy power shall choose. And thou shalt turn in the morning and go unto thy tents. 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day shall it be a solemn assembly to Yahweh thy power. Thou shalt do no work therein. All right. So get the word solemn real quick, because the first day is the Passover, but the 7th day as well is another Shabbat. So this is really, it's beginning of the because it's mentioning the week of unleavened bread, or the feast of unleavened bread, which begins with the Passover. The Passover is the first day of the unleavened bread. All right, and it's in the whole week. That whole week is really the solemn assembly. Most importantly, the first day. But go ahead.
I got the word here for you. It says assembly, solemn assembly, sacred or festive meeting.
Mm-hmm. It's a sacred day. This is on the high holy days of the Lord. What does it say?
It says assemblage, company, group, sacred.
So it's a holy day, sacred. So, and it's to be kept. The Lord said to keep it in all your generations. But go ahead, whatever got something. Go ahead, whatever brothers got. We'll get into Wisdom of Solomon, 17.
I got Isaiah 31. Start at the top, it's only 9 verses, but we got Isaiah 31. Start at the top of verse 1. It says, "Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay upon horses, and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord Yahweh." So, here in this time now, we're in spiritual, solemn Egypt. So Egypt being the land of our great bondage, our captivity. So here in this world, in the setup, this devil has it to where you have to, ultimately go into the curses where the one of all things, you have to go to our enemies. So, pretty much Jake got in the mindset that, I have to worship after this devil, and follow after him instead of following after Yahweh. One of the prophets is basically going to be destroyed, But keep reading. Isaiah 31 verse 2, it says, Yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words. Right, because, prophecy always supersedes, pretty much the adventures of man or the devices of man. You might say, next week I'm going to do this, but if it's not going to the Lord's will, it's not going to happen. Right, so going into this place being destroyed, it does not matter. People can go and stand in the middle of the street and say, "Oh, we're gonna," what they do with these protests. Pretty much going into unity. All right, we need to be at peace with all men, whatever. The scriptures talk about that, but going into
That was it on that.
It's good. I can keep reading. That's what I was saying. Whoever brothers got, because this whole chapter we're going to go into it. Pretty much we're at the time right now. Isaiah 31 verse 3 says, "Now the Egyptians are men and not the Most High, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down."
Right, and that's what we're getting at, because the Passover, the first Passover was in the Exodus. Would somebody get Jeremiah 16 real quick? The first Passover was the Exodus from Egypt. Well, shit, the Lord died during the Passover. So it got to be around this time that we're gonna leave Egypt again. Lord's will. If not around this time next year. But hey, the sooner the better. But that's why Egypt, the Pharaoh, the Egyptians, they couldn't defend themselves. So why would you trust in them? They couldn't stop the death angel. They couldn't stop the chariot. from coming down and blocking them off. They couldn't help themselves. But you got Jake that's gonna trust in Egypt. When the Lord's really finished flex. Go ahead.
Real quick, because just like Yahushua wasn't even able to turn away the wrath that was going to come upon him. So the Son of the Most High couldn't even turn away the wrath that was coming on him, and that happened on right before the Passover, because they wanted to kill him before the sun went down. So the Lord couldn't get past this judgment that he had to go through. What makes you, Jake, think that you're going to get past on the judgments that are coming onto the new Egypt in these last days, man? You see, these judgments are coming in. I did a video on it this morning. These people are laxy-daisy out here, man. We just came across the heaviest, the high holy day of the Heavenly Father, and you go out onto the world, and it's like it's another day.
They're releasing fucking bullshit music the same day. Demonic ass music.
Right. It's no coincidence, man. Hey, the demons know and believe in the Most High.
And fear and tremble.
And fear and tremble. Well, you got 2/3 that are. Come on, man. This is nigh time to wake up out of that sleep.
And that's what it's going to be different this time in this Exodus. The Lord ain't taking all of Israel this time. He's going to kill a majority of you. You gotta die. You ain't leaving spiritually, because that's where 2/3 come in. 2/3 of Jake here in America is gonna be perished. They're gonna perish if they even make it to the flames. They're gonna perish a horrible way. Just like the Egyptians had to go during the first Exodus, man. So what? You want to go to Egypt for help and trust in the oppression? Well, then you gonna get the same judgment as them. Go ahead, bro.
This is Isaiah 31 verse 3 says, "Now the Egyptians are men and not the Most High, and their horses flesh and not spirit. When the Lord Yahweh shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall all fail together."
Right. So you want to trust in America, you gonna go down with America. The one that help and the one that's helped. Y'all want to keep believing in the system, like it was set up for you. Well, you gonna go down with the system. The beast. He gonna go down. You gonna go down with the beast, his image and his mark. You going down with the beast if you want to love the beast so much. Because or worship the beast. You got something out?
Well, I had Jeremiah 16.
Okay, yeah, bring that out, Con, real quick.
All right, this is Jeremiah 16. I'm gonna start at verse 14. It says, "Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that it shall be no more said, Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt."
Right, and this is what we read about in Exodus. The children of Israel coming up out of Egypt, and then the scripture says, "It shall no longer be said." So that's brother. The new Exodus is gonna be something to far outweigh the first Exodus, bro. And the nations feared when we left Egypt, bro. For the most part, they knew about our power. So how much more now, where the Lord's even gonna destroy the majority of His people? What kind of power do you think He's gonna show? And they weren't doing miracles. They weren't, other than Moses and Aaron. There wasn't a bunch of men doing miracles and prophesying on the corners right before the Exodus, So now it's gonna be the Lord's being brought forth to the forefront on a whole nother scale. So His return is gonna, the Exodus, His return is gonna be a whole, higher thing,
And speaking of which, like they're saying here, we still have movies and things like that where they depict the first Exodus. And when you go into the details, the Egyptians was the world dominating military at that time. They was the only ones that was taken out. The firstborns, it was Egypt that was touched at that point in time, right? You had one chariot that led out the children of Israel. But on this time go around, you're going to have all the nations in World War III fighting. The Lord is coming back, like you say in Revelation 19, and also Revelation 6, going forth to conquer, taking those crowns off the heads of the kings. He's about to put all the nations in subjection. It's not going to just be one nation. And it's not going to just be one chariot. It's going to be multiple chariots at this point in time. And everything is televised, so the whole world's going to see this. The whole world's not going to be, we heard about what happened over in Egypt. No, the whole world's going to witness these things, because you have the children of Israel that's scattered in the four corners of the earth, man. So you basically going to have the children of Israel. Well, let me keep reading.
And to add on to you, just go ahead and read it, actually.
Yeah, Jeremiah 16 and 15. But let me go back to 14. "Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that it shall be no more said, Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But Yahweh liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, and from all the lands whither He had driven them."
Right, the land of the north being North America. All right, in all the places that He's driven them, because the brother said that we are scattered all throughout the four corners of the earth. But the great deliverance is going to be here in Egypt, the spiritual Egypt. And this time, you know, we're going to get into those plagues that hit Egypt the first time. This time, the ultimate plague is going to be the missiles and the chariots, man. You know, because the chariots are a curse on the east. All that Zechariah 5, it is a curse that goes upon the world, you know. But you know, the final plague, because they're going to get hit with plagues like as before, but the final plague is going to be the nukes. Because the scripture, even I think it's in Jeremiah or maybe in Isaiah, it calls the nukes what's the name, plagues. You know, Ezra's actually 16. Yep, it calls them plagues. But you know, that's gonna be so. And that Egypt didn't get destroyed. You know, they got fucked up. Pharaoh and his army died, but Egypt, they kept going. You know, as a civilization. America's gonna be wiped off the face of the earth. You know. But go ahead and finish that.
Con, it says, go back to Jeremiah 16 and 15. Let me just read it over. It says, but Yahweh liveth that brought the children of Israel from the land of the north and from all the lands where he had driven them, and I will bring them again into their land and that I had gave to their fathers. That's it.
There you go, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's where you was going into the plague. This is Zechariah 14 and verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth.
As you said, as they stand upon their feet. So that plague is the missiles that's going to burn them up alive, melt them alive, literally melt them alive. That's what the scripture just described. The old infamous Sarah Connor on the fence. That's the scriptures just illustrated that. And that again, that's what's gonna make this Exodus so much greater. Because not only is the Lord gonna deliver his elect from there, but he's gonna destroy everything in it. Everything. Nothing left behind.
I got a precept. This is going in Zechariah chapter 5 and verse 1. It says, then I turned and lifted up my eyes, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll, and the length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it, and everyone that swerveth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. It says, and I will bring it forth, saith Yahweh of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that swear falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and it shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof.
God, and chariot's gonna bring destruction, and they're gonna bring salvation at the same time for the elect. But they're gonna be wreaking havoc, that's for sure. And they're gonna have a high body count in chariots, especially the Lord. You know, the scriptures say that he neither lifted finger. You know, but he's still gonna be zapping people. That's as Ezra saw it. Yahweh Shai zapping people. So the Lord gonna be getting down, brother. He's a man of war. He's sending the Lord Yahweh is a man of war, and he's sending his first son back to invade this country, the world. You know, come restore righteousness on this earth, the heart. You know, by force. He's not coming to ask you. You know, he already came as a man. He said he shall not meet thee as a man. So he does all the negotiations have already been done. He coming back to lay down the law. You know, enforce it. And Lord's will with those men, we're gonna get to help them do it. You know, but after this Exodus, this new Exodus takes place. You know, that's why Scripture say, "He that endureth to the end, the saints shall be saved." That's right. But you got something?
Yeah, two more verses in Isaiah. This is Isaiah 31 and verse 4. It says, For thus hath Yahweh Bashem Shai spoken unto me, like as a lion and the young lion roaring on his prey. When a multitude of shepherds is called forth against him, he will not be afraid of their voice, nor abase himself for the noise of them. So shall the Lord Yahweh of hosts come down to fight for Mount Zion and for the hill thereof. You know, so going into how the Lord pretty much, like he said, he swore by himself that way Edom shall be a desolation. You know, this kingdom as a whole is going to be completely destroyed. You know, so when the Lord returns, it's not going to be oh, that's Donald Trump, oh, that's such and such. He don't care. You know, he's gonna destroy everything. You know, and if you're left here behind, and you know, these missiles drop, you're gonna be destroyed. We just went into that plague. It's a curse if you get left down here. You know, Jake want to make us living out here and try to finagle and get his way through this world, but you're gonna get destroyed. You know.
And again, hey, like in the Passover, the Egyptians didn't expect it. They got all the Hebrews hiding in the houses and putting blood on their posts, and the Egyptians just going about business, not knowing what's about to come. Next thing you know, you hear screams.
Yep.
So they, like brother said earlier, like as in days of Noah, people just gonna be eating, buying, and then they're gonna eat a missile.
Thief of the night come and take them away.
Well, shit, they're gonna be seeing the chariots and then the missiles, so it's gonna be a bad scenario for if you ain't with the Lord.
Hey, I was gonna say, how did it happen last year for us, man? We had the Passover while everybody else was eating and drinking and marrying and giving into marriage. It was just
week later.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, you know, and I remember the brother Kanakla posted up something because we was hearing about the pandemic, but it was only over in China at that time, and you had these Americans making memes about it with their little gas mask on and everything. They was all laughing, and lo and behold, y'all became the epicenter of these things, man. You know, that pride had deceived you at that point in time. Now you're the number one victim of all these things, man.
Right. Now you got a big ass face pamper.
Yeah,
you was making memes earlier.
Yeah, too mad. They got you double masking it in the car by yourself. You know,
face shields and shit. Like, come on,
done for.
But go ahead.
One more yet. There's Isaiah 31 verse 5. It says, "As birds flying, so will the Lord Yahweh of hosts defend Jerusalem."
Right. And birds flying. Birds flying formation. You know. They fly in a pattern, you know, and that's where Esau gets a lot of his shit. You see jets, when they fly by, they flying in that same pattern. That's a war pattern, you know what I'm saying? Even armies would make certain formations, you know, like the movie 300. They had a certain formation to make the thing work, you know what I'm saying? So that's how the Lord gonna come back. And what battle formations? You know, chariot, he gonna be the head, you know, the big ass chariot leading the charge.
And in them chariots, you know, like a bird, you know, from above, you know, birds of prey, they attack things on the ground.
We'll read the previous verse. It said he gonna come down or something like that.
Yep. Read the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Isaiah 31 verse 4 says, "For thus hath Yahweh spoken unto me, like as a lion and the young lion roaring on his prey." Them that, you know, going into Jeremiah, you know, talks about them that devoured shall be devoured. You know, there's these devils, you know, preying on us. Guess what? Now they're gonna be the prey. You know. So the Lord's roaring at these devils, saying, "Yahushua is going to roar like a travailing woman." That war cry that we're just going into. It says, "When a multitude of shepherds is called forth against them that war in heaven," you know, these devils coming in with their angels, you know, making war against the Lord. You know, he's not going to say, "Oh shit," then he turn back. You know.
Yeah, the Lord going to harden his heart just like he did with the ancient Egyptians.
It says, "When a multitude of shepherds is called forth against him, he will not be afraid of their voice, nor abase himself for the noise of them." He gonna humble down, you know. The Lord said, "I'm high and lofty." He says, "So shall the Lord Yahweh of hosts come down to fight for Mount Zion."
He said he'll come down to fight. And that's what the scripture say. The same way he left is the same way he comes back. That's what the angels said. Angels don't lie. Unless a lying spirit that get sent on you. But the angels, they didn't lie to the apostles when they said that. So the Lord, he went up, and guess what? He gonna come back down. In the clouds.
It says, "So shall the Lord Yahweh shall hosts come down to fight for Mount Zion and for the hill thereof." It says, verse 5 says, "As birds flying, so the Lord Yahweh hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it." Yeah. So that's, you know, the walk. Ezekiel 9:4, you know, the mark of exemption. When the Lord comes, he's going to look over his men that have that mark, and they're going to be exempt.
How he came when we left Egypt the first time in the chariot, you know, and protected all of Israel. But this time it's only going to be protection for the elect. All right.
Quick precept on that. This is Zephaniah chapter 3, and I'll start at verse 15 points and 19. Zephaniah 3 and 15 says, "The Lord hath taken away thy judgments. He hath cast out thine enemy, the king of Israel. Even the Lord is in the midst of thee. Thou shalt not see evil any more. In that day it shall be said to Jerusalem, Fear thou not, and to Zion, Let not thine hands be slack. The Lord thy power in the midst of thee is mighty. He will save. He will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love. He will joy over thee with singing. I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemn assembly. And this is the solemn assembly that we're doing right now. Because the Lord is preparing, we're preparing to feast. Okay, and the Lord is about to bring those judgments. All right, like the final judgment was that the Passover, when that death spirit came through, and that's going to be the same death spirit that's going to come through again, which was Yahushua. He told you himself. He said, "I come not to bring peace, but a sword." He himself told the people that. It says, I read verse 18 again. It says, "I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemn assembly, who are of thee, to whom the reproach of it was a burden." It says, "Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halteth, and gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame in every land wherein they have been put to shame." And that's what the Lord is going to do, man. He's gonna gather us up, man, that were driven out. Okay, those that were in that solemn spirit. Okay, because this is to be calling yourself a man of the Lord, a prophet. This isn't something to. This isn't a fun and game thing. This is something serious, man. This is, I believe the brothers mentioned earlier, counting the cost, man. You have to understand what's about to come. See, during the time of Moses and Aaron, the rest of the Israelites didn't really have a leg up, so to say. They just had to grow with it. They just had a belief. Now, faith was a lot more in those days, but in these last days, Yahushua himself said, "Shall I find faith on the earth?" So in these last days, it's going to take you to have faith and believe to get by on the judgments that are coming. Because back then, people just believed because they would see the miracles.
Just ran with it.
Yeah, they would. Yeah,
I believe it.
Yeah, they saw the river turn red. They saw the different plagues by Moses and Aaron that they were doing.
And they still was scoffing.
Yeah, they still had scoffers that they're actually seeing. These last days, there's a very small remnant that actually believe without seeing. That's why the scripture says, "Blessed is he that believeth and has not seen." Because we ain't seen the full-on judgment come upon these people, man.
Right.
The scriptures even talk about that in Ecclesiastes. So if judgment isn't executed speedily, the hearts of men are set to do evil, roughly paraphrasing.
And that's why this Exodus is gonna be a lot worse, because that's why the Most High gonna kill the majority of our people. Because what? Back then, that first Exodus, they hadn't disobeyed the Lord like they disobeyed the Lord all this time later. You know, that's what, 5,000 years ago. Look how much, because the Lord, after he let them leave Egypt, he gave them the law, statutes, and commandments. Now y'all know it. Boom. Now you know I'm your power. Here's my name. Now their iniquities has gone through the roof. You know, so that's why he just gonna put them down, except for the elect, the ones that truly believe. You know. But do you have more on that, or that's it?
No, it's pretty much.
Yeah. And we can close out with a couple more scriptures. Whatever brother's got.
Something.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a point.
Yeah, he's just to the point.
Start.
Yeah, really, we could go just through the whole little chapter, honestly. Just start at the top.
All right. This is Wisdom of Solomon 17, verse 1. For great are thy judgments and cannot be expressed.
Right. So the judgments that the Lord is bringing are great, man. The Lord don't do half-ass judgments. Especially when he's dealing with a whole nation that touched the apple of his eye. That's why he brings great judgments, you know. Plagues. Bringing them down systematically. Break them up, divide them, you know. Go ahead.
Therefore unnurtured souls have erred. For when unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation.
Right, that's it. And that's was the reason talking about them Hamites, you know, and this is talking about ancient Egypt, but this is the same thing applies for Esau, because he took on all the ways of the Egyptians. All right, that's why he got the pyramid in the back of the dollar bill. All right, there's a lot of shit that he took from Egypt, so now he's the same unrighteous guy, and he's even more unrighteous. You know, he took captivity of Israel to a whole nother level. Go ahead, though.
God, they being shut up in their houses, the prisoners of darkness, and fettered with the bonds of a long night.
Yeah, that was that Passover. A long night.
Go ahead.
lay there exiled from the eternal providence. For while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions.
The demons were haunting them, coming to life. Now, the Lord will manifest them demons, man. Like that people that be bugging out, they call them psychotic. All right, schizophrenia. All right, them niggas that be doing LSD and shit like that, freaking out. Them niggas are seeing demons, them apparitions, talking to themselves. You think they talking to themselves, but talking to the apparition he's dealing with, you know. And people who was witness this in the dark, complete dark pit. You can't even see a candle, you know. Go ahead.
Verse 4: For neither might the corner that held them keep them from fear, but noises as of waters falling down, sudden about them.
Yeah. Imagine that. It's dark, complete darkness, and all you hear is a waterfall. Oh shit. Bugging people out, bro, and that's how the Lord's gonna do in these last days. It's gonna be the scriptures say, give me any plague but a plague of the heart. So, you know, you start, when you don't eat for a good 2 days, the typical American's gonna lose their shit. They're gonna start seeing shit. You know, they're gonna be seeing apparitions, just bugging out, hearing shit that ain't there. It's gonna be like a Freddy Krueger movie to these people, man. It ain't gonna be a dream though. you ain't gonna be able to wake up from it. Go ahead.
God. It says, and sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenance. No power of the fire might give them light.
See, no they couldn't even light a match to get some light. That's how dark the Lord made it for the Egyptians. Go ahead.
Neither could the bright flames of the stars endure the lightning that horrible night.
That horrible night, pitch dark for them. Go ahead.
Only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful. For being much terrified, they thought the things which they saw to be worse than the sight they saw not.
Yep.
As for the illusions of art, magic, they were put down in their vaunting in wisdom.
Right, so you know, remember, because they try to recreate all the miracles that Moses would do. Well, now here they are again. All right, let's try to do this. Just start throwing powder and shit. And nothing's working though. You know, the Lord just brought that shit tonight. Like what he say about you saw your enchantments. Damn, how's it go?
Isaiah 47. Standing
like enchantments. Yep. So they gonna fail them. You know, go ahead.
It says and troubles from a sick soul. It says, and their vaunting in wisdom was reproved with disgrace. For they that promised to drive away terrors and troubles from a sick soul were sick themselves of fear, worthy to be laughed at.
Right, these magicians and shit, these warlocks, they making promises that they ain't gonna be able to keep, cause they gonna be themselves sick. You know, they gonna be bugging out. Go ahead.
For though no terrible thing did fear them, yet being scarred with beasts that pass by and hissing of serpents.
Right. The Lord is gonna have a whole scenario where you're just bugging out and shit just fucking with you. You don't know if it's real or not anymore. You be bugging out. Go ahead.
They died for fear.
Hearts failing them from fear. Motherfuckers just gonna be dropping dead just because you know you can scare someone to death. You know what I'm saying? Them motherfuckers have a heart attack or something. You know? Imagine all these old people and shit.
I was gonna say they have like with the military and stuff, they have those torture tactics like what they call waterboarding, where they'll lay you on like a table and they'll put a sheet or something over your face and just pour a bucket of water over you. But because the mind think they actually being drowned, it does way more damage. Like, bro, they just pour water over your face, but you don't realize that. So like the brothers is going into, some of these things is way worse than, you know, or you thinking it's way worse than what it really is, and then you'll just die of straight fear, man. You know? And that's if the Lord, he ain't gonna let everybody go out like that. You gonna have to just be shitting your pants scared and have to live through it.
Yahushua said, you know, men's hearts failing them for fear for the things they see, but then in Revelation it tells you that death shall escape them.
Exactly.
Men shall seek death, but shall not find it.
Yeah.
So
like that nigga might have his leg blown off and now he's just bleeding out, crawling, and something happens where that shit just don't stop bleeding out. So it ain't looking good for the Americans. Go ahead though.
Yeah, just the point that you had hit on earlier, going into the judgments. All right, and this is the Lord. I believe it's in Psalms 9 and 16. It goes into and it says how the Lord is known by His judgments. So this is the Lord putting the judgments, all right, upon the people, especially in these last days. All right, we get getting ready for the time of the Exodus of Egypt. All right, I got a quick precept here in Sirach 39, verse 28. It says, "There be spirits that are created for vengeance." All right, that's the Lord unleashing these different spirits out here. All right, to jump on these people, to give them the different apparitions and the different things that they see, the different sounds and things that they hear at that time. All right, got them basically bugging out. It says, "Which in their fury lay on sore strokes in the time of destruction. They pour out their force and appease that made them." It says, "Fire and hail, famine and death. All these were created for vengeance." And that's what the Lord's about to bring, all right, especially in these last days. All right, we're seeing the turnaround of the Israelites that are coming on top, all right, these other heathens coming on the bottom. So the Lord's getting ready to send out the heavy judgments, all right, according to what? These spirits, all right, that He's getting ready to put out into the face of the earth.
Yeah, that's them plagues and them, like at the beginning of the chapter, said them great judgments.
That's right.
They encompass, and then our Lord's with that salvation. Go ahead.
God, denying the air no side, for which is very timorous in being always forecasted grievous things.
Right, so their actions was against them. That's why they had to go through that. And so America's actions speak loud and clear against the children of the Lord. Go ahead. And what Esau, they had us for what, 400 and like 400 really. The Jews, right? A lot longer than that. Since 1492, the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, this nigga been whipping our ass a long time. I think we did the math the other day, it was like close to 1,000. But nonetheless, this nigga gonna have to pay worse than them dirty Hamites had to. Go ahead.
Verse 12, for fear is nothing else but a betraying of the succors, which